And welcome back to Erie News Now at 7 as it's time to go behind the story featuring the leading voice on one of today's top topics. And today we had a chance to talk with Dr. Brent Moritz from Penn State University, who breaks down day 2 of trade talks between the United States and China in London and how they can potentially impact us.
Well, the talks that are going on in London seem to be a good thing, that's for sure. Maybe the headline might be that cooler heads must prevail, because where we were in April was really unsustainable. The tariffs of potentially 145% were really dramatically way out of line from what we would normally expect. So these talks today are actually a follow-up to what happened in May. They put a 90-day pause on the big chunk of those tariffs, and then they're working on trying to come up with a longer-term agreement. Well, it's hard to say for sure, but I think it's in both the U.S. and China's interests to come to some sort of an agreement that makes sense for both countries. So again, those very large tit-for-tat tariffs and the escalation that happened between both countries was probably neither in China's interest nor the U.S.'s interest. So hopefully we can come up with something that makes sense for both countries. So the tariffs are impacting supply chains in many ways. Certainly the auto industry is one, just because of steel and rare earth elements. That's the other thing. That's probably worth a bit of a discussion. One of the interesting things that's happening right now is China has let's just say slowed down some of their export licenses on rare earth elements. These are things that go into a lot of the electronics we use, goes into automobiles, semiconductors, those kinds of things. China produces a lot of those rare earth elements. Anything that has a magnet or has some electronics in it has a rare earth in it. And it's a big deal for a lot of industries. I hope cooler heads prevail and that we can come to some sort of an agreement. But really, any industry that has imports or exports of products is impacted by these tariffs and dislocations, the trade licensing kinds of things that are happening. Anything that has export controls on it is a huge issue. So right now, a lot of industries, a lot of companies are looking to do things like, hey, let's build up our supply chains for back to school shopping. It sounds odd with school being ended, but the retail industry is well on its way to getting plans for back to school shopping. Similarly, the rest of the retail industry is going to be ramping up for Christmas shopping over the summer to get everything in place. And that's been really disruptive to have the tariffs and the disruptions to the normal flow of goods coming in. For the average consumer, I think these trade talks are a positive. It seems like people are trying to come up with a workable solution that are going to keep costs relatively low for the average consumer and keep things consistent. It's not in China's interest to have a big disruption in their exports to the U.S. It's not in the U.S. consumers' interest to have dramatically increased costs, which is potentially what we were seeing as to what was announced in April. Again, this looks like, hey, if we can come up with a happy medium, it's going to be something that's workable for the U.S. and workable for China, and in the best interest of certainly the American consumer.